On a distant starship cloaked in the darkness of space, a council of galactic emperors convened. Representing the most advanced civilizations in the galaxy, they had united to address a common threat: humanity. Earth was home to a young species with dangerous potential. With technological advancement accelerating faster than any species they had encountered, humanity's rapid rise unsettled the emperors. What if these beings, so rash and unpredictable, one day turned their gaze toward the stars? After weeks of deliberation, they agreed on a final solution. It was called the deadly gas of eradication, a highly sophisticated biochemical weapon designed to target only human biology. The gas would enter Earth's atmosphere in silence, colorless and odorless, spreading undetected and wiping out all life without damaging the planet. No violence, no visible destruction, only the quiet end of a civilization. When the gas was finally deployed, it drifted down from cloaked ships orbiting Earth, covering every city, every countryside. People inhaled it without realizing, its effects subtle, at first a slight fatigue, an unusual drowsiness which quickly deepened into a sleep-like coma. Humanity, from the highest peaks to the lowest valleys, succumbed, cities falling silent as life ebbed away. The galactic emperors congratulated themselves, assured that they had prevented a future threat. But within the silent, gas-filled streets, something strange was happening. The gas did not work exactly as planned. Instead of eradicating human life entirely, it activated latent genes, sparking a transformation. Beneath the calm exteriors of the comatose, humanity's deepest evolutionary secrets awakened. Dormant for millennia, strands of DNA began to unravel, granting a select few survivors powers beyond imagination. In an abandoned hospital room, Eleni, one of the top researchers in human genetics, slowly opened her eyes, now faintly glowing. She felt a pull, a vast, ancient energy surging through her. She was no longer just a scientist. She could feel the air around her, sense its every particle, and astonishingly, she could control it. Halfway across the world, in a desolate city, Amir, a former soldier, awoke with his hands sparking with energy. He felt invincible, faster and stronger than ever before. These awakened humans were only the beginning, for across Earth, others stirred. Something sacred had been unleashed, a power not even the galactic emperors had foreseen. Elena sat up slowly, disoriented, yet filled with an unfamiliar energy. She had vivid memories of the gas, of feeling her consciousness fading, as if slipping away. Now, she felt not only alive but reborn. Her mind buzzed with an instinctive awareness of her surroundings. She reached out a hand experimentally, and to her astonishment, the air around her responded, tiny particles floating in her palm, shimmering as they moved to her command. "I need to find others," she whispered, a strange conviction settling within her. There was no scientific explanation for what she was experiencing, but she could feel something ancient awakening, a force that seemed to whisper to her. Meanwhile, Amir paced through the streets of his empty city, overwhelmed by the sensations flooding his body. His muscles pulsed with strength, his reflexes sharper than ever. Every sound, every scent was amplified. He climbed a nearby building in seconds, scaling walls with an agility he hadn't known was possible. At the rooftop, he looked out over the deserted city, stunned by the silence. His hand absently clenched into a fist, the air crackling with energy. He realized he wasn't alone in his transformation. Others, like him, must be out there. Guided by an inexplicable force, Elena and Amir soon found themselves converging toward a meeting point. They crossed paths with others who, like them, had awakened with powers no human had ever wielded. Helena, a doctor who could now sense and heal injuries by touch. Marco, a young engineer who could manipulate metals as if they were clay. Sienna, who discovered she could communicate telepathically, bridging thoughts across vast distances. As the small group gathered, They shared their stories and pieced together the scope of the transformation. Whatever the gas had done, it had changed them in ways they didn't fully understand. They weren't simply survivors. They were chosen, bonded by a sacred energy they couldn't yet name. The feeling that drew them together hinted at something greater, something ancient that had always been hidden within humanity, waiting to be unleashed. That night, as they sat around a makeshift fire, they sensed a message echoing within them, a memory too old for any individual, but alive in their collective consciousness. Humanity was never meant to be ordinary, Elena said quietly, voicing what they all felt. We were always meant to awaken. The chosen prepared for whatever lay ahead, not yet knowing that the galactic emperors were already watching, aware that their gas had failed. The emperor's failed plan had set something extraordinary in motion, something that would soon threaten the entire galaxy. In the heart of the Nebula Command, where the Galactic Empire's leaders convened, a council was held to review the results of the deadly gas of eradication. Emperor Zell, a figure of daunting presence with a reputation for ruthlessness, sat at the head of the council table. He watched the holographic displays with satisfaction, as Earth cities appeared lifeless, its skies a muted gray. But soon, reports from the observation probes began to indicate movement and anomaly that none of them anticipated. In pockets around the planet, small groups of humans appeared to be active, resisting the effects of the gas. A chilling silence spread over the council chamber as they reviewed the data. The humans hadn't just survived, they had somehow evolved. The emperors, unused to anything undermining their plans, ordered their top scientists to investigate. Within hours, the findings were conclusive. The gas had triggered a genetic reaction within certain humans, awakening powers that defied the laws of biology and physics. Unnerved, Emperor Zell slammed his fist against the table, his voice a harsh whisper. We must eradicate these mutants before they become a threat. They are already adapting beyond what our weaponry can contain. The Galactic Emperors decided to act immediately. Troops of genetically enhanced soldiers were dispatched to Earth, armed with advanced weaponry and orders to eliminate any remaining humans. They landed in massive dropships, their approach quiet but lethal, prepared to deal with a primitive species that had overstepped its boundaries. Yet, when they reached Earth, they found something they had not foreseen. The humans were not only alive, they had become powerful adversaries. Elena and her group sensed the presence of the invaders, their newfound abilities alerting them to the alien threat before it even touched down. The air itself seemed to vibrate with warning, an ancient instinct to protect themselves and their planet. Amir, now adept with his enhanced strength and speed, took the lead. He organized the chosen, each person's abilities complementing the other. No longer isolated or uncertain, they were united with a purpose: to defend Earth against these invaders who had tried to erase them. When the galactic forces struck, they found their opponents stronger, faster, and vastly more resourceful than they had imagined. Elena controlled the air around her, generating whirlwinds that deflected plasma bolts. Marco molded metal into shields and weapons, protecting his comrades. Sienna connected them telepathically, allowing them to communicate and strategize silently. The galactic soldiers, baffled by this strange power, began to retreat, overwhelmed by the sheer force of humanity's transformation. In the skies above, the galactic emperors watched in shock as their soldiers fell, defeated by a power they couldn't understand. For the first time in millennia, the empires were confronted with the possibility of defeat. The battle for Earth raged on, with more awakened humans joining the fray every day. Each survivor seemed to manifest a unique ability, contributing to the defense in ways they couldn't have previously imagined. The chosen grew into an organized resistance, fighting with a fervor that was both desperate and exhilarating. Humanity had been threatened, but they had found their purpose: to protect Earth and preserve its sanctity from those who sought to control or destroy it. Elena led the Chosen into a dense forest where the galactic troops had set up a temporary base. The Galactics, confident in their technological superiority, had made the mistake of underestimating humanity's resolve. As the Chosen approached, Emir signaled for silence, his senses heightened to the point where he could feel the vibrations of each footstep beneath the ground. "On my mark," Elena whispered, raising her hands. With a flick of her wrist, she created a dense fog that rolled over the area, blinding the alien troops. They fired aimlessly into the mist, missing their targets. Then, in a synchronized assault, the Chosen descended upon the invaders. Emir darted through the lines with superhuman speed, disarming soldiers with swift, calculated strikes. Marco molded the discarded alien weapons into lethal projectiles, directing them toward the invaders with perfect precision. Just when they thought they had gained the upper hand, a massive galactic weapon powered up, threatening to vaporize the entire forest. But Elena stepped forward, her eyes glowing with energy. She raised her hands and bent the air itself, creating a shield so strong that the plasma blast dissipated, leaving the Chosen unharmed. As the battle concluded, the few remaining galactic soldiers fled, leaving behind the ruins of their base. Humanity's awakened powers had proven to be more than a match for the galactic forces. But the victory came with a revelation. Each battle brought them closer to understanding the sacred power within themselves. It wasn't just about survival. It was about claiming their place in the universe. That night, the Chosen gathered, weary but triumphant. Elena shared her vision, one that had come to her in fragments, ancient memories unlocked as her power grew. She spoke of humanity's purpose, of a hidden energy embedded in their DNA, a sacred gift waiting to be awakened when the time was right. "We were meant to be more than what we were," Elena said, her voice resonating with quiet strength. "They tried to erase us, but they only unleashed the truth." As the galactic empires scrambled to regroup, the Chosen prepared for what they sensed was coming. The emperors would return, armed with even greater forces, determined to suppress this new threat. But the Chosen knew they could not be so easily destroyed. They were no longer just defending Earth. They were awakening to their destiny as protectors, empowered by the sacred energy that had always been within them. The war was far from over, but humanity had found its true strength, forged in the crucible of survival. As dawn broke, they stood together, ready to face whatever came next, united by a bond the galactic empires could never comprehend. High above Earth's atmosphere, the galactic emperors prepared for a final assault. They had gathered the most powerful fleet in the galaxy, outfitted with weapons designed to counteract and destroy the mysterious abilities of the awakened humans. The emperors were no longer concerned with simply containing humanity. Now, they aimed for complete obliteration. The Chosen, aware of the impending threat, assembled in an open valley beneath a sky tinged with alien ships. Elena, Emir, Marco, Sienna, and hundreds of other awakened humans stood together, each one embodying an aspect of the sacred energy that had transformed them. They were more than warriors. They were symbols of hope, strength, and unity, bound by something far greater than survival. Elena stepped forward, addressing the Chosen as the shadows of galactic ships grew larger above them. "They think we are only defending ourselves, but we are doing more than that," she declared, her voice carrying an unearthly power that resonated through every heart. "We are embracing the energy that has been within us all along, an energy that belongs not just to humanity, but to the universe itself." As the galactic ships descended, the Chosen linked their minds, hearts, and abilities, guided by Sienna's telepathic power. They became one vast network of consciousness, a collective will that could not be broken. Elena extended her hands to the sky, channeling the sacred energy into a shield that surrounded the entire valley, a shimmering barrier of light. The galactic emperors unleashed their assault. Beams of concentrated plasma, and advanced weaponry rained down, colliding with the shield in a blinding display of power. But the barrier held, absorbing the attacks and dispersing the energy harmlessly. Frustrated, the emperors ordered their ships to increase power, straining their weapons to the limit, but the shield remained unbreakable. Inside the shield, Alina's vision deepened. She saw the origins of humanity's sacred energy, a legacy of the cosmos itself, woven into the very fabric of their DNA. It was a power as old as the stars, a gift meant to awaken only when humanity was ready. This energy was not only for Earth's defense, but for a purpose beyond any single planet or species. It was the essence of creation, of life, and of balance. Drawing from this revelation, Helena directed the Chosen to do something unprecedented. Instead of countering the Emperor's attacks with violence, they focused their energy on reaching out, on resonating with the very ships and soldiers that sought to destroy them. The sacred energy surged beyond the shield, extending out in waves that touched every alien mind in the fleet. The galactic soldiers, poised to fire, found themselves confronted not with fear or anger, but with visions of peace, unity, and life. For the first time, the emperors and their soldiers saw humanity not as a threat, but as a species capable of wielding a profound, almost divine power that did not seek domination but harmony. A moment of silence followed. The relentless assault stopped as the emperors realized their weapons were useless against this energy. They could destroy physical matter, but this force was something far beyond their understanding or reach. In that moment, they understood. Humanity had evolved beyond the need for conventional defenses. They were guardians of a cosmic legacy, stewards of an energy that held the potential to unify the galaxy, not tear it apart. One by one, the galactic ships began to retreat, the emperors acknowledging their defeat. But more than that, they had witnessed a transformation in humanity they could neither explain nor counter. For millennia, the emperors had ruled with absolute power, believing themselves unmatched. Now they faced a power they could not conquer, an energy that was ancient, sacred, and perhaps meant to protect the galaxy as a whole. As the last ship disappeared into the sky, the Chosen stood together, humbled yet victorious. They had defended Earth, but more than that, they had discovered their purpose. They were more than just survivors. They were the protectors of a force beyond comprehension. In the days that followed, humanity began to rebuild. The Chosen became guides and teachers, helping others awaken to the sacred energy within. Earth was no longer just a planet, it was a beacon, a place where life had evolved not only to survive, but to embrace its role as a steward of universal peace. The galactic empires, now humbled, entered into an era of peace with Earth, treating humanity with respect and reverence. Stories of the sacred power spread across the stars, inspiring other civilizations to seek a deeper understanding of their own origins and purpose. Humanity, once the hunted, had become a symbol of balance and unity. And as they looked up at the stars, they knew that they were no longer alone, not in power, not in purpose, and not in destiny. They had awakened to their sacred role in the cosmos, a role that would resonate through the galaxies for eons to come.